sun indeed came up for the Colorado Rockies on this Sunday after a couple of dismal days baseball-wise. It is another gorgeous afternoon in New York, the city that never sleeps. The Rockies at 52-41, the Mets 41-47. They've been playing a little better of late. They've won 5 of their last 6 at their home field of Citi Field. Citi Field basically lies in the same spot that Shea Stadium did. Shea Stadium was over several feet in the parking lot while this building was being completed, and it was opened for business in 2009. Steven Matz, as Jenny told you, out of Stony Brook out on the island, and he'll face Charlie Blackmon. Charlie has seen Steven Matz and had great success against Steven Matz. They matched up one time last year. Matz gave up 2 runs in 6 innings against the Rockies. Rockies had 10 hits. Charlie had 3 of them against Matz. So here we go. We're underway on a Sunday afternoon, and the first pitch is outside, ball 1 from the left-hander. Matz has a good arm. He's just had trouble staying healthy.
It's kind of an understatement when you say staying healthy. You look at Steven Matz, signed out of high school the next year, missed the season due to Tommy John. Last year had to get bone spurs removed, PRP injection in the shoulder. But when he's healthy and he's right, it can be very difficult to square up. Likes to use the fastball, has been having difficulty this season with fastball command. The best secondary pitch is his curveball, so he likes to set hitters up with the fastball to get to the curveball. For Rockies, you have to be patient. Wait for a pitch in your zone.
Looked like a cutter away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Charlie 3 for 4 against Matz in that victory by the Rockies last summer here in New York. The only time they faced Steven Matz. And that's a slider that strikes out Charlie. So he threw 3 different pitches to Blackmon. So a fastball, curveball, slider. 1 out, it'll bring up LeMahieu. Here's the Southwest batting order for the Colorado Rockies today. You note that the first 3 hitters, all All-Stars, all above 300. Mark Reynolds back in there, and then Ian Desmond returning, hopefully giving the Rockies some life. 283 average so far in his first year in purple. Gerardo Parra is in there as well, naturally. Trevor Story, Ryan Hannigan, and Jeff Hoffman. That pitch is inside, or excuse me, on the inside corner. Strike 1 to DJ. And a line drive to right, base hit for LeMahieu. So with 1 out, there's 1 on, and that'll bring up Arenado. Nolan in the ball game yesterday, a single and a double in 4 at-bats. Let's take a look at the defenders for the Mets. Conforto's in left today with Granderson playing center field. Jay Bruce is in right. It's Rivera, Reyes, Cabrera, and Duda. Rene Rivera is behind the plate. And you'll see, you can obviously see that Cespedes is not in the lineup. He hurt his hip in the game yesterday, came out, and because he felt something for, according to Terry Collins, precautionary reasons, not in the lineup today. Here's Terry Collins. And this is popped up and playable for Duda. Two gone, and that'll bring up Mark Reynolds. Reynolds pinch hit in the game yesterday. 0 for 5 in the series. 1 for 3 last year against Steven Matz. Matz has been pitching very well, save his last performance against the Cardinals. He gave up 5 runs in 4 1/3. Prior to that, he had a string of 17 straight scoreless innings. Never been a question about his ability. But with all the injuries, the bone spurs that Spilly was referring to, this is just his 7th start of the year. He's given up some home runs, 7 home runs, Spilly, in 38 1/3.
To me, it's what's gone on in baseball is if you're missing location, and we've seen it throughout the series for the Rockies. you miss location, middle of the plate, regardless of how hard you throw, you can look at. In baseball, there's a gigantic spike. Jacob deGrom has given up 18 home runs. Clayton Kershaw has given up more home runs than he's ever given up. The way the game is designed with how hard guys are swinging, the way the ball is carrying, you miss middle part of the plate, it's going to get hit hard.
Called strike, 3-1. There's been many articles written this year, especially lately, about feast or famine type of approach. A lot of home runs, a lot of strikeouts. And this ball's lined to deep left field, and it is over the head of Michael Conforto. Going to third is LeMahieu. He'll have to stop there. And hustling into second with a double is Mark Reynolds. That is good to see.
It's great to see. We're looking at Mark Reynolds over the last 27 at-bats, had 14 strikeouts, tied with the team lead with 104. And talking to him, he says he feels good. He knows he's a little bit tired over the course of the season. And for him, it's just slowing it down, getting back to the good approach that Mark has. You see in the 3-1 count, gets a pitch he can handle from Matz out over the plate. And hits it over Conforto.
So as Ian Desmond returns, he comes up with an opportunity to do some early damage. He's been great with runners in scoring position. 2 outs, runners at second and third for Desmond. He's hitting .365, 19 for 52 with runners in scoring position. And with 2 outs, it's even better at .417. Line drive, base hit for Desmond. This will score 2, and it gets the Rockies off to the fast start they so desperately needed. Welcome back, Ian Desmond. That is large right there.
It's huge because you're looking up and down the lineup for Rockies to just give quality at bats, and bringing Desmond back. Now you get Gerardo Parra right behind it. Desmond attacking, aggressive, gets a pitch, willing to stay inside the baseball. Just like that, the Rockies take a 2-0 lead.
That's how you want to return when you've been absent for a while. It's been a frustrating year for Desmond. Never on the disabled list in his career. Had the broken hand in spring training, missed a month. And then he had the calf strain and he missed a couple of weeks.
I just like that this, getting Ian back, he's a vocal guy, and when you've tried to assimilate to the group, there's not really an opportunity to when you're on the disabled list for as much as he has.
The one thing you may not see, and this could surprise me, and I may eat these words, but Desi coming off a calf strain may not look to run, at least initially, till he feels that calf's truly 100%. But having said that, and knowing as you do the way Desmond is comported, he may take off this pitch. Who knows? Probably not on a 2-0 pitch to Parra, but
I'll let him
you get the point. And Parra lays down a bunt. It's a good one. And Rivera throws it away. And now it goes out of play. Desmond was on his way to third, and that's all he'll get. What happened down the line? Parra's down and holding his
I'm not sure if the baseball hit him on the wrist or with the reach tag from Duda, if it jammed him.
I think he ran into Duda. Did he? I don't know. What is it?
They're looking at his shoulder.
Duda.
They're looking at his shoulder.
Oh, you know, that's his throwing arm. Kind of, you know, extended.
I mean, it's just been the way the Rockies have been going. Get something good, and then something immediately bad happens.
Watch the glove and see the arm gets kind of hyperextended a little bit. I'll tell you what, you know, looking at him grimace, that does not look good.
No, and for a hitter, that's your top hand. That's the driving hand. We know Parra and his arm in right field, being able to throw the baseball.
It was a smart play by Parra, even with 2 outs, for 2 reasons. You know, create more traffic. Rivera's playing back. Rivera's had throwing issues on the scouting report.
Throughout this entire series, we've seen errant throws from Rivera at third base.
It is a bunt single and an E5, allowing hopefully eventually Parra to go to second and not a pinch runner. Is he staying out there?
Well, I mean, just because your shoulder hurts doesn't mean he can't run right now. You'll have to find out if he can swing, see if he can throw.
He's walking, now he's being redirected to second base.
So was he awarded second base? Oh, because the ball went out of play.
Yeah.
Again, on the Supermo, the extension of his shoulder going the wrong direction. Duda's lucky he didn't hurt his wrist as well.
That's why, and I don't know at any point in your college career, your professional career, if you played any first base.
I did.
Well, you know, you're taught to, on a ball up the line, you're taught to spin for that reason.
Exactly.
If you stay rigid, you're going to get hurt. So the Rockies, another opportunity here with Trevor Story, second and third, 2 runs already in on the Desmond base hit. Story in the game yesterday threw out a double in 4 at-bats. And a 2-0 count. The Rockies really putting pressure on Steven Matz here out of the gate.
And I think watching Trevor, even though this is a 2-0 count, this is your chance to get a good pitch and let it eat, right? Swing hard. I don't want to see that swing anymore. I want to see the shorter swing, get the ball up the middle, opposite field.
Like that, down the line. That'll bring in 2. Extra bases for Story. It's 4-0 Colorado. That was a controlled approach, wasn't it?
It's perfect. That's the short swing you have to have. And for Trevor, it's getting a pitch that he can handle, a pitch he can see up in the zone. Last 2 hits for Trevor, doubles.
And timely ones. This one drives in 2, 37 RBIs for Story. A 4-0 top of the first for Colorado.
And all with 2 outs. You're looking at this rally from the Rockies. It's quality at bats, getting in a good hitter's count, and not missing a pitch. Not even close by Rivera at third base. Well inside the foul line. The Mets are going to automatically potentially walk Ryan Hannigan to face
Beautiful.
Jeff Hoffman, and just like that, flip the lineup over.
9th man to hit in the first inning. You could draw it up that way every ball game. That's what you'd order. And more so than any team in baseball, and I say this not because of our affiliation with the Rockies, but if you look at the scores from the first 2 days after the break, if you could pick one team and you were completely neutral as to a club that needed a big first inning and a big pick-me-up of the 30 in baseball, it was the Colorado Rockies, given the circumstances of their first 2 games after the break and how they began behind by a large number early both days. And that's strike 3 on Hoffman. So Matz finally gets off the field, but the Rockies score 4 times. Ian Desmond comes back with a clutch 2-out, 2-run single, and then Story a 2-run double. He's throwing the ball with some firmness as he loosens up with Charlie Blackmon. That's scary stuff, man. Get something hyperextended, get a strain in there, especially his throwing shoulder, but he looks to be okay. So now we'll turn our attention to the guy on the hill, Jeff Hoffman, who just got to swing the bat here a moment ago. 5-1 record, and Spilly out on the road 3-0, a 167.
He's been fantastic on the road, but I kind of point back to the start against the Arizona Diamondbacks, June the 21st. He gives up 3 2/3, gives up 9 earned runs at 3 2/3, and then over the next 20 2/3, only 10 earned runs. He's commanding the strike zone better. Fastball, curveball, slider. The curveball is the best secondary pitch. But as we're watching these Rockies pitchers over the last couple weeks, for me, it's been location. We know the stuff is big. We know the stuff plays big. But if you're missing location by a large margin, there's not a lot to do as far as setting up sequences, as far as setting up hitters. I really want to see Hoffman command the strike zone.
So the kid from the Albany area, the state capital of New York. First pitch to Granderson is in there, strike one at 94. This is the first time since high school that Jeff has pitched in the state of New York. He went out of high school to East Carolina. He was a Pirate. Granderson takes strike two. Home plate umpire is Bruce Dreckman. Chris Siegel at first, Mike Everett, the crew chiefs at second. And at third base is Jordan Baker. Well, it's good to see a 4 up there in the bottom of the first inning that's not on the other side of the ledger. Rockies lost 14-2 and 9-3 the first 2 ball games of this series, and that hit Granderson. Let's take a look at the Southwest batting order for the New York Mets this afternoon. Again, they'll play without Cespedes this afternoon. It's Asdrubal Cabrera, Michael Conforto, who led off the first 2 ball games of the series. He'll bat third. Then Jay Bruce, he had a home run yesterday. TJ Rivera's got a 10-game hitting streak. Lucas Duda. Jose Reyes is swinging the bat well. He homered yesterday. Rene Rivera has some pop. He'll bat 8th. And then Steven Matz. So Granderson at first base. And here's Cabrera. And immediately Hannigan's going to go out. We talked about this yesterday, and we talked about it on Friday. Yesterday, Steph Lugo was staked to a big league. Jacob deGrom was the ace of their staff, was staked to a large early lead on Friday night. And both of those guys, to their credit, pounded the zone. Well, Jeff Hoffman has a significant lead, albeit early. Pound the zone. You have good stuff.
You have to. And what this Rockies defense is waiting for is some quick innings. Get him back in the dugout. Let them play. It's hot. It's Sunday.
Buddy was asked today, and it's a natural question for any reporter right now. The Rockies have lost 15 out of 20. He said, how much, concern is there? He said, the mindset of the team is great. He said, everybody's where they should be. He said, the bottom line is we need to string together some well-pitched games. And he's absolutely right. He said, all the focus on the offense, and yeah, there's some guys that haven't produced that you think will produce. This ball's in the air to left center field, and Charlie takes it. And that's a clear reference to Cargo and a clear reference to Trevor Story, who came through nicely in the first inning. He said the mindset, he said, for me, is always about pitching. He goes, if you get high quality starts, you're going to find ways to win more often than not. And that's true. And I think the mindset from a Colorado Rockies fan perspective, not exclusively, but I think for years has always been, it's been offense, 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 because the Rockies have traditionally, this, Bill, you were a longtime Rocky, put up big numbers. But what wins, we know what wins. Nice pickup by Reynolds. What wins is high quality starting pitching. So yeah, the Rockies haven't hit their stride, and hopefully they will at some point offensively. They haven't been a great offensive team, or nearly as good as you think they should be. But guess what? If you pitch, that's how you got 21 games above 500.
Exactly. Well, you'll hear people talk all the time about killing the win. The win is not important for starting pitching. And I disagree with that, because you look at guys like Clayton Kershaw, guys like Max Scherzer. You go out there and you provide the tempo. You provide that confidence on the mound. The team responds to that.
See if the Rockies can turn this over on the first double play. Nicely done. So Conforto grounds into a 4-6-3. The Rockies will take a 4-0 lead to inning number 2 on a Sunday afternoon in Queens. Brought to you by the 2017 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores, by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. By Papa John's, use the code ROXWIN for 50% off at papajohns.com the next day. And by Southwest Airlines, yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. That is in the Jackie Robinson Rotunda here at Citi Field. And another opportunity for Charlie Blackmon, and guess what he does? After striking out his first time, he's going to get himself a double to lead off the second inning. And for Charlie, that extends his hitting streak to 11 ball games. He's really good. I've been watching. I've been narrowed in on him this year. And I think he's a really good baseball player.
Not a baby, Drew. Throw your neck out there. I think anytime you watch Charlie Blackmon play, what you have to realize is that the amount of adjustments he makes in a game is remarkable. Whether it's moving off the plate a hair, whether it's looking for a certain pitch, he does that as well as anybody in Major League Baseball, and he does that because he's constantly studying and paying attention to sequences.
DJ saw that hanging out there. He said, I may be able to poke that down the line. He almost did. You know what he has also, Spilly? And you're a deep thinker within this game.
Oh, gosh.
I know. That's the one compliment you get today. Charlie has, especially for a baseball player, unshakable confidence in who he is and how he goes about preparing to play the game.
You have to. If you trust your routine and how you prepare, you cannot deviate from it.
There's another base hit for DJ. Charlie had to wait to see that pass to second baseman Cabrera. So he'll get another 90 feet. And the Rockies back in business here in the second. And Steven Matt's not liking this Rockies lineup right now. He has already given up 7 hits.
I just love DJ's approach. He's trying to get Charlie over to third so Nolan can have him at third base with less than 2 outs, and he gets rewarded for trying to do the right job. And we're looking at DJ hitting now over 311. We're talking about a quiet 311 in a lineup where you're looking and you go, wow. Just does his.
He's a lot like Charlie. The statement I just made applies to DJ also. Unshakable confidence, and he knows who he is. Good swing by Nolan. He fouled out to first in that first inning, which the Rockies scored 4 times, all but 2 outs. Nolan's an RBI hog, man. And you know, somehow, some way, he's going to get Charlie around, if not others. 70 RBIs for Nolan Arenado. He was like that in the Cal League when he drove in 122. You drive in 100 runs in a minor league season, because they play 144 games in the long seasons. That's a ton.
And he did that without hitting a lot of home runs. It's not like he
hit 20.
It's not like he hit 40 home runs. I
right.
mean, he was doing it with doubles and singles.
Got a 2-1 pitch to work with. 2-2. Did you ever swing at a fastball, Spilly? You saw it, and you're saying, how did I completely miss that?
Yep. I would look at my barrel and see if there is a hole in it.
I think Nolan felt that way on that swing.
You look at your barrel, there has to be a hole in this thing.
This is Eric Goodell already up. And this will get the job done, maybe a little bit more. Granderson chasing, looking up, see you later. 3-run jack, Nolan Arenado. And the Rockies lead it 7-0. Told you the sun would come up today.
I'm glad it's up, because there's a lot of people that didn't think it was coming up today.
Home run number 18, RBIs 71, 72, and 73.
This is what I want to point out when we're watching Nolan Arenado. 2 big swings, looked at his bat, saw if there was a hole in the barrel, shortened up the swing with 2 strikes to try to get somebody home, and he gets rewarded. Nobody's better than Nolan at hitting a fastball, and that was a short stroke. You can see the frustration for Nolan because he realized, well, my swing was too long. Shorten up, see you later, baseball.
That's to the biggest part of the ballpark also. Reynolds takes a strike.
The beauty of that swing for me watching Nolan, not a lot of effort, and for people watching this at home, you constantly think that these guys are big and strong.
That's ripped to right, and Mark Reynolds has his second hit. You know, New Yorkers, here come the Boo Birds already on the Long Island kid, Steven Matz, and Terry Collins is coming out, not Dan Worthen. He hasn't missed many barrels so far. 4 straight hits to begin the second inning after he gave up 4 runs on 5 hits in the first inning. He's taking the baseball.
Darn, I had a lot of good stories written up for Steven Matz to share today.
You can still tell him it's just an absentia. 7-0 Colorado. Tacos tomorrow. Don't forget to go to your participating Taco Bell location between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special with Moss at Taco Bell. Again, that's tomorrow. So Eric Van Norman Goodell, California kid, is on the hill. Originally a 24th round selection of the Mets back in 2010. 28-year-old on a lot earlier than if he was going to get used today. He even thought he'd get a call.
Rockies are repaying the Mets a favor for the last 2 games. You're looking at 2 1/3 innings for Rockies starters the last 2 days.
And a wild pitch from Goodell. Moving up to second is Mark Reynolds. 9 hits for the Rockies against Steven Matz. Last year they got 10 off of him, but it was over 6 innings, and he somehow navigated his way around those 10 hits to only relinquish a couple of runs. The Rockies did beat Matz last year, but they beat him up this afternoon. Desmond, a huge 2-run single to get the Rockies going last inning. And this is bounced foul.
Even that approach from Ian Desmond, he's trying to hit the ball to the right side. He is trying to get Mark Reynolds over to third base. These are the quality of bats we're talking about. 2-strike approach, shorten up, put the ball in play. Rewarded with a home run from Nolan. Fastball count for Mark Reynolds. Shoots the ball opposite field, base hit.
1-1. And that ball's chopped foul by Desmond.
And watching a game like this so far, this gives the team the confidence where they go, hey, wait, forgot. If everybody just does their one part, stays within their lane, does their job, gives the team at bats, look how many runs we can score. And DJ, 2 times opposite field, tried to move Charlie over, rewarded. It's amazing how quickly you can get a team approach in one game.
And hopefully this turns into
an everyday affair.
Well, what the Rockies had last Sunday, a laugher. trending that way, up 7-0 early. But you'll look back on that at bat by Desmond. 2 outs in the first, still a scoreless game. And Desmond, coming off the DL, comes through to get the Rockies going. That was huge. Story followed it up a couple hitters later with a 2-run double. 2-2 on Desmond, facing the UCLA product Eric Goodell. That's the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Gerardo Parra. Gerardo had a bunt single and had a little mishap at first. He had his left shoulder hyperextended. Rockies looked at him with their training staff for probably almost 5 minutes at first. (1-0) for Parra. Reynolds at second, 2-0. Goodell was drafted out of UCLA. He was a reliever for the Bruins. And then his first few years of pro ball, he was a starting pitcher for the Mets. Not these Mets, but in the minor leagues. Savannah, St. Lucie, Binghamton in Double-A. Mets have 2 of their affiliates within the confines of the Empire State. The Brooklyn Cyclones over in Coney Island, where my mom grew up, and the team in Binghamton, which is in central New York. Two and two on Parra. They cleaned up the last couple of ball games. Did a great job. And a few bright spots for the Rockies the last few. Duda's got it. Reynolds to third, 2 outs.
You're talking about the different organizations that the Mets have here in New York. One of the organizations that they have an affiliate, AAA Las Vegas. And Vegas is one of the most difficult places to pitch in all of baseball. That's why when you're looking at Goodell and his numbers in AAA this year, he was 2-4 with a 6.67 ERA. Gets to the big leagues, righties are hitting less than 140 against him. Lefties are hitting 160.
I'll tell you a quick story, and Spilly, I think you were involved as a player. The final exhibition game one year of spring training took place at Cashman Field in Las Vegas against the Seattle Mariners. Yep. And we were broadcasting the game. It was cold and ridiculously windy. And when I say ridiculously windy, it's typical that the wind blows at Cashman. The wind was blowing out at gusts up to 50 miles an hour in right field.
I had a homer.
In the game you did?
To right field.
I think I remember remarking, is this how much the wind is blowing? Spilborghs has hit it out to right, folks.
Yep.
I think that was the exact quote. 0-2. That's fouled off. Anyhow, in batting practice, because Giambi was on that team, Hell, Hop, you know, a lot of big, strong left-handed hitters, right? they were hitting the ball with that wind in BP truly well over 500 feet.
Yes.
Well over 500 feet.
Exactly.
It's funny.
It is funny. So it's always hard when you're paying attention to certain stats, numbers of guys throughout the league. And you go, well, where does he play again?
Trevor held up. And it was so cold that night, I remember this, that you couldn't stay warm, and my lips were getting numb. You've been outside where it's that, and it's hard to talk, and you're like Donald Duck flapping, even more so than normal.
Every day, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I always enjoy going to Vegas. I like playing there because you can hit well there. And you always split aces.
Always. You never know. There may be a major league team in Vegas one day.
I have no problem with it.
Now a hockey team in Vegas, the Knights. (7-0) Colorado. Goodell in relief of Steven Matz, who the Rockies ran off after 1 inning. And Goodell strikes out Trevor Story to end the inning. The Rockies get 3 in the second. A double by Blackman, a single by LeMahieu, and then a 3-run bomb from Nolan Arenado. It's the kind of start the Rockies were looking for.
And the Rockies have spotted him 7 runs. Well, for Jeff, he is a native New Yorker, grew up in upstate in Latham, about a 2.5-hour drive from Citi Field here. He made his major league debut last August, 16th career start now. I mentioned the family and friends here. He hasn't pitched in New York since high school, as Drew mentioned earlier, but when he does get on the hill, we wanted to know all about his routine, and that brings us to our UC Health Rock Your Routine.
I try not to be too analytical with my approach. I try to, kind of go about it attacking with my strengths more than anything else. Trying not to think too much about what the hitter's good at, more about what I can do to attack the hitter and to pitch to my strengths.
And I love that soundbite from Jeff because we actually got that at spring training as this ball is well hit out to right field. That's going to be good for a double for Jay Bruce. We got that soundbite at spring training from Jeff Hoffman. And I think it's neat because Bud Black has talked so much, you guys, about his growth. Not only as a pitcher and what he can do mechanically, but just about his maturity on the mound. And we obviously know how Jeff started out this year. He came up as a spot starter, got a couple opportunities before he stuck in the rotation. They sent him to AAA to work on very specific things, and he met every single one of those requirements along the way. And I think that's what's given him a lot of success so far this season.
Yeah, you give him a lot of credit, Jenny, for not pouting, but going on working on the things he was instructed to work on. Gives up the double to Jay Bruce. Hey, Jenny.
Yes, sir.
Jenny.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
What do you mean, oh no?
You.
Happy
Well,
birthday.
I don't want everyone to have to hear you guys sing.
Well, that's probably good. We'll cut it off right there. But happy birthday.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I would also like to say happy anniversary to Spilly because you hit your very first Major League home run on my birthday. When? 2004? Right?
I think it's 2006.
2006. My bad. Off a few years.
Jenny, happy 25th.
Forever. Thank you.
Two strikes on TJ Rivera.
Well, Jenny's story, and you listen to Bud Black and the challenge that was given to Jeff Hoffman, it shows me a lot about his character. The ability to, he was expecting to be in the rotation and start off the season. Go down to the minor leagues, you're beat out by Kyle Freeland, Antonio Senzatella, and then meet those requirements, as Jenny said, to get the opportunity to pitch. And since he's been back, there's an edge to him. And I think we saw him take the bump, take a little speed bump against the Diamondbacks, but since then he's been fantastic. He's commanding his pitches, he's pitching with confidence, he's pitching aggressive. And I know when we talked to Bud, and he says it's exciting watching all these young rookies pitch. They're growing. There's a lot of learning, a lot of coaching throughout the year. And at some point, this team is going to see the fruits of all the labor, and they've already have. When you're looking at 4 pitchers with 5 or more wins in the first half, it's never been done in baseball history.
First pitch strike on Lucas Duda with 1 gone. Bruce doubled, standing at second base. Rockies up 7-0. Nice turn of events from the previous 2 days. Rockies were down 8-0 early yesterday. Just missed at 95, 1-1. Growing up in the Albany area, went to Shaker High School. And Jeff, his junior year, went 7-0, but he wasn't attracting a lot of D1 attention because he was topping out around 82, 83 with his fastball. By his senior year, the radar game spiked some more, and East Carolina offered him. And his freshman year, he had success starting and relieving for East Carolina. They went to the NCAA tournament. And that very next summer, he was in the Cape Cod League. It just shows you how quickly things can change, because if you get an invite to the Cape Cod League, you've opened some eyes. And he did after his freshman year. And again, 2 years earlier, nobody was looking at him.
It's just like the story we were talking about yesterday with Seth Lugo. That's a fantastic story. He's at a D1, turns into a Division III. He's the main guy in his rotation. That's centenary. He's a gentleman. He goes 3-9 with an ERA in the near 6s. One area scout just saw something in him, gave him an opportunity for a pre-draft workout, and then does really well. And Seth Lugo's in the major leagues a couple years later.
I always say this, Billy, and you know this to be true. You kind of fit that bill. There's more stories like that than stories like Bryce Harper, who you could tell from the time he left the crib was destined to be a big leaguer. I got one for you, Adam Ottavino. Again, we were talking about Adam growing up in Brooklyn and the level of competition, certainly not where you grew up in Southern California, you know, or Texas or the Southeast, Georgia, the Carolinas, Florida. Otto, even in college at Northeastern, he said, you know, people liked my arm. He said, but they weren't, you know, I certainly wasn't mentioned as a early round pick. And then he went down to Atlanta, faced #1 Georgia Tech. This is in the air to left. Hopefully Desmond has a play. And he will. Nice play by Ian. 2 outs. That'll bring up Jose Reyes. Anyhow, he goes down to Atlanta and Northeastern early in the season, non-conference game obviously, taking on the Ramblin' Wreck, #1 in the land. Ton of scouts there. He's got a no-hitter going into the 9th inning. All of a sudden, he said, the rest of my starts, my junior year at Northeastern, he said there's 60, 70 scouts there.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? I mean, think about Tyler Anderson. Tyler Anderson is in Spring Valley, Las Vegas, has a scout coming out looking at him for college. And it's not even him, they're looking at his teammate to get recruited to go to Oregon State. Andrew Checketts. And actually it's Oregon, not Oregon State. And Checketts ends up seeing Tyler Anderson and says, you know what, I don't want that guy, I want this guy.
There's so many stories that are similar to that when somebody gets noticed. That's why it's nice for, you know, high school kids that aspire to play in college if you already have a big name on your team, because you know you're going to get attention. It's not like scouts or recruiting coordinators aren't going to watch the game. So yeah, you know, they're going to really focus in when Billy's up because that's who they came to see. But then Johnny throws out 3 knocks, and Sammy, who's on the hill, they go, whoa, this guy's got a nice arm.
I haven't met a lot of Sammys and Johnnies of late.
Oh, there's a lot of them out there. That just missed to Reyes. 2-1. Jose hit a home run against Ottavino yesterday. Jose's had obviously a very fine career, but he did something earlier this year that only 4 others have done. He hit 2 home runs in a game against Clayton Kershaw. And this is a fly ball to Desmond, and after the leadoff double, nice job by Jeff Hoffman. No harm done by that leadoff double by Bruce. We'll go to the 3rd. Rockies a touchdown up on the Jets or the Mets. Net is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru by Coors Light. Whatever your mountain, climb on. By UC Health, live extraordinary. And by the Wyoming Office of Tourism, Wyoming is full of adventure. It's time to find out if you are too. That's why travelwyoming.com. Pretty flowers. Rockies 7 and the Mets nothing. Ryan Hannigan in the 3rd inning to lead it off against Eric Goodell. Steven Matz got run off after 1+. Allowing all 7 runs on 9 hits, didn't walk anybody, struck out 2. And Goodell's fastball at 92 is on the inside corner, strike 1. Hannigan started Friday night. He's got 2 starts in the first 3 after the All-Star break, and this is a chance for Jose Reyes. There was another trade in Major League Baseball today. Seemingly the only flaw with the Washington Nationals is their bullpen. They addressed it today. Mike Rizzo sending a good arm, Blake Trinan, and a couple of prospects to Oakland. Oakland's always aggressive with Billy Beane, and they acquire Sean Doolittle and the veteran Ryan Matson to help out in the bullpen.
Nice move by the Nationals.
And here are the East standings. Washington 9.5 north of Atlanta. It's kind of been a pleasant surprise this year, right around 500. The Mets have moved into 3rd by virtue of their last couple of victories. Miami at 41 and 48.
Just looking at the standings today, the Mets are 9.5 games or 12 games back of the Washington Nationals. They're 41 and 47. Put a little perspective. The Rockies are 52 and 41, and they're 11.5 games back of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
You know, Bellinger had the cycle yesterday. The Dodgers won again. They've won 8 in a row. They've just played, I mean, you got to tip your cap. They've played absurdly good baseball over a really long period of time. Remember, we were talking about this as Hoffman takes a big swing. When the Rockies were on a roll and won at 1.7 in a row and ultimately got 21 games above 500, we remarked on the air that they had, you know, made up like half a game on the Dodgers because the Dodgers were winning every night, and so was Arizona at the time. Arizona's cooled off. Obviously, the Rockies have cooled off. The Dodgers
28
have
and
not.
4 in the last 32 games.
What do you say about that?
I mean, it's remarkable. It's a good team, and they're playing extremely well.
Second time Hoffman goes down. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Blackman, who struck out in the first and then doubled and scored in the second.
I think when you look at the last 2 games for the Rockies, not good games. And it has felt like the sky's been falling at times. And certainly if you ask friends that are big Rockies fans, they're pushing panic buttons. But the calming thing when you can look above and you're looking at the Arizona Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks have lost 4 straight.
Well, the Rockies lead in the wild cards 5.5 games. Atlanta is a team that you have to be wary of. The Cubs, a team you have to be wary of, perhaps the Cardinals. But there's the wild card standings. Cubs 5.5 back, Atlanta 6, St. Louis. But most importantly, it's about what you do.
Exactly. And I always point out that 5.5 games is a little misleading. The Rockies are 11 games over 500. The Cubs are just 500.
Broken bat, little looper to Reyes. He'll grab it, and it's a 1-2-3 third inning for Eric Goodell. So he's retired all 6 he has faced, but the Rockies have the large lead. Break brought to you by T-Mobile. News and notes from around the league. Cody Bellinger, first rookie in Dodgers history to hit for the cycle. The final element of that was a triple last night. Diving attempt in right center field did not work out for Giancarlo Stanton. Jose Quintana will make his Cubs debut after that trade today against the Orioles, and he is already pitching as that game has started. Matt Holliday forced extra innings by hitting a home run, made it 1-1 at Fenway, and they ended up playing a lot of baseball after that. And then Matt was involved with a strange play, controversial from Boston's standpoint. Watch this. Matt's at first. He's a hard ground ball to first base. Matt stops, heads back the other way. The ball ends up hitting, not Matt, it actually hit the base runner. Boston wanted interference on Holliday. And you're saying, why is Matt doing what he did? In Matt's mind, he thought with the ball hit behind him that it may be a tag play. In other words, that the first baseman may have touched the bag and gone to second, and then first base is free again. What he didn't realize is that didn't happen. So when he went back, he was already out on the force out, but he had a right to do that. Boston has played the game under protest. The Yankees won in 16, 2-1. This is a looper to shallow right, and it's going to drop in front of Parra. Actually, the final score was 4-1, not 2-1. Didi Gregorius had the initial hit that gave the Yankees the lead in the 16th. So Rene Rivera reaches on that soft single.
Jammed off the label of the bat. Gerardo trying to make a play, deciding if he's going to dive, realizes late that he can't. And this was an opportunity I thought Rivera was going to challenge Parra and see how the left arm was feeling. And the catcher, obviously not the fleetest of foot.
Wilmer Flores swings at the first pitch, and this is a dying quail, and this will drop. This reminds me of a couple of hits that John Gray gave up on Friday. Two on, nobody out for Curtis Granderson.
Well, if there's any good that happens with Flores pinch hitting, it's that Goodell comes out of the game. And the Rockies get a reset with the next relief pitcher that comes in.
Granderson hitting .309 over his last 49 games after getting off to a really poor start. He was hit by a breaking ball his first time up after falling behind 0-2. Hit much better out on the road this year, 261 versus 200. (2-0). Fernando Salas. Popped up. Hoffman trying to help Hannigan. Hannigan does not have a play. I mean, literally, that was just over the screen. Join in on the conversation. We invite you every day. Send us your questions on Twitter or Instagram at AT&T SportsNetRM. And don't forget to use the hashtag ToyotaTalk. Hoffman has the ability to ring up the strikeouts. He did not in his last outing. He only had a couple, and he has not struck anybody out yet today. And this is an easy play for Parra. Tagging is Rivera. Let's see how Parra's arm feels right now. Feels pretty good. You know what? He checked out medically on that throw, didn't he?
Yes, he did. any worry you had about Carr and his shoulder, even with it hitting off Trevor Story's glove, is a one hop to third.
Heals quickly. As Drupal Cabrera with one out. He hit a fly ball to Charlie his first time up. The one scary thing about this Mets lineup, yesterday they scored 9 runs on just 8 hits, but they hit 3 home runs. They're second in the National League in home runs. They've hit 134. That's tied for 5th best in Major League Baseball. Their slugging percentage of .448 is 5th in Major League Baseball. Strike one. You would never think the Mets playing at this ballpark would be where they are from a home run perspective. Milwaukee #1. They have a strong lineup and they play in a hitter-friendly environment, Miller Park. Adding Eric Thames hasn't hurt.
Nope.
Though they lost a guy who hit a lot of home runs in Chris Carter. Carter signed late with the Yankees and has since been released. Carter, of course, tied Nolan Arenado for the home run lead in the National League last year.
At the same time, you have opportunities for guys like Domingo Santana with the Milwaukee Brewers that's having a fantastic year. Travis Shaw. Ryan Braun is back.
Braun hit a grand slam off the scoreboard on Friday. 2 strikes on Cabrera. 3 strikes on Cabrera. The rules say when you get 3, you gotta go away.
Yeah, you gotta go home. Take your bat with you.
Initial strikeout for Hoffman, high cheese.
It's just a good sequence, and Hannigan likes it. You can see that's where he wants to pitch, gets the pitch up there, and he rewards him with the fist pump.
Two outs, and Michael Conforto, who grounded into a 4.63 his first time up. He struck out 4 times last night. Do you get a golden sombrero when your team wins and you punch out 4 times?
Of course.
Breaking ball for a strike on Conforto.
It's funny when you win, you get the golden sombrero. Probably forced to eat last out of all of his teammates.
Really?
Think he deserved to eat after striking out 4 times?
Go right to the cage. Spilligus. Did he go? Yes. 0-2. Spilligus, no shower. Get out of here. Go on a bus. Take your golden sombrero with you.
Oh my God, that sounds so much like him.
It was me. You didn't look carefully. It was me. Truth be told.
Couldn't see
in the
you.
interest of full disclosure. It's your little buddy welcoming you. Welcome to the big league, Spilligus. 0-2. See you later. Strike 3. What a job by Hoffman, and you see his reaction. He gives up a couple soft singles to begin the inning, and he ends it with a couple of strikeouts, and once again, no harm done. So we move to the 4th. The Rockies up 7-0 in New York.
As we head to the top of the fourth, time now for our All Copy news and notes, brought to you by All Copy Products. Let's check in on Albuquerque first. They've won 7 out of their last 9, and compliments of these two players. David Dahl had his 4th rehab game, 3 for 10 in his last 2 games with AAA Albuquerque. Jordan Patterson in his last 3 games, he's hitting .500, 4 home runs, and 8 RBI. So good to see Patterson with some power. Brendan Rodgers, he's also had a couple of home runs for the Yard Goats, including a walk-off in the 13th inning last night for the AA squad. So again, good to see those guys working well. And Bud Black said for David Dahl, he's still a ways off. Obviously, he needs to have a full kind of spring training type of rehab and just a handful of at-bats for him. So still a few weeks away for David Dahl, and any sort of updates on his return.
Yeah, but Jenny, it's great news because it had been so frustrating for David. On a couple of occasions, he thought he was ready to start baseball activities, and every time he would ramp up the baseball activities, it seemed like he would retweak that rib cage area. And when you initially heard about the injury, and you thought, okay, maybe he'll miss the start of the season, the first couple weeks, all right, maybe a month, and obviously here we are deep into July, and he is yet to play. So the fact that he is playing every day and it's his spring training, good news. The Rockies should get him back with plenty of baseball left in 2017. DJ LeMahieu, Nolan Arenado, Mark Reynolds against the third pitcher for the Mets. It's Fernando Salas, and he's had a rough ride, Spilly.
Oh, rough ride is an
and it's going to get rougher right now because this is toward the gap in right center field. It's a leadoff double for LeMahieu. DJ is 3 for 3.
And all 3 of the hits opposite field. You're looking at splitting the gap in New York. Gets a pitch up. Salas it's been a struggle for him. 11 earned runs in the last 10 innings. Fastball center cut and up, and DJ gets an opportunity to run.
And you go back, it's been even worse. Not only 11 runs the last 10 innings for Salas, he's allowed 29 runs in his last 33 outings. That's how you produce a 6.44 ERA. Team's hitting .315 against Salas. Nolan, last time up, did some damage.
Well, with 2 strikes, Nolan shortens up. Steven Matz missed right down the middle, but it was the short, clean swing that I love. Not a lot of effort. When you're looking at a guy like Nolan, his ability to shorten up with 2 strikes, not a high strikeout guy. And then the ability for him to put the barrel to the ball, I mean, he's off the charts as far as that ability goes.
Well, at the beginning of the day, Nolan led the National League in RBIs. He was second in Major League Baseball to Seattle's Nelson Cruz. Cruz began the day with 72, so Nolan's got 73 right now. 2 strikes, 1 and 2. He's got a ribby out there in DJ. Eric Goodell did a nice job. 2 scoreless innings of relief for New York. Struck out 3 in the process. Again, Matz 1+, 7 runs, 9 hits. And this is pulled to third. Rivera throws out Nolan, 1 out, and that'll bring up Mark Reynolds. Mark's 2 for 2, double and a single in the game.
Nolan's gonna be a little frustrated with that at bat. Had an opportunity to, number 1, move a runner over and missed a pitch. And then with 2 strikes, all bets are off. You're not trying to move a runner over when you get to 2 strikes. You're just trying to put the ball in play. The Rockies need to add. Even though you have a 7-run lead, momentum can switch here in a heartbeat.
Well, again, the Mets' ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark gets your attention. I mean, there's some teams, Billy, I imagine you played against and say, okay, they're going to have to string together 11 hits to catch us.
Yeah, it was like the Padres.
Exaggerating.
Years and years ago, the Padres would have to single you to death.
DJ takes off for third, and he is safe.
TJ's slippery.
That surprised the Mets, and it surprised us given the fact that he's playing with the groin injury.
Dan Worthen talking to another coach, asking about the video. Oh, he missed.
You know, ball beats man, but let's see if the tag was applied. No, that's a great call by Jordan Baker.
That's fantastic. Put himself in a position. Jordan Baker is one of the taller umpires in baseball, so he gets a good line of sight.
Infield comes in. That's a huge bag there because he forced the infield in, give Mark Reynolds a chance if he hits the ball to the outfield to get the run in.
Well, and DJ picks up Nolan. I mean, he gets himself over to third base. Nolan wasn't able to do it, but DJ will get there for him.
And this is a base hit. Mark Reynolds with RBI number 62, and it's 8-0 Colorado.
Beautiful thing. This is called team offense. This is exactly what the Rockies wanted. Leadoff double. Nolan can't move him over. That's okay. DJ catches the Mets off guard, steals third, and then with the 2-1 count, Mark Reynolds is able to find a hole and punch it into the outfield. This is the offense the Rockies have been dying for. This is the offense they've been waiting for.
Desmond takes a strike. There's a lot of things about this game that you love already. From a collective standpoint, number one, the 8-0 lead. From an individual standpoint, Mark Reynolds has been scuffling a little bit. He's got 3 hits, and he's hit the ball hard.
He had 14 strikeouts in the last 27 at-bats.
This ball down the line, extra bases for Desmond, and Mark Reynolds will get to third. Stu Cole will stop him there. Desmond's 2 for 3. 1 out, and that'll bring up Gerardo Parra. 12 hits for the Rockies.
It's 1 game back, having Ian Desmond back. But so far today, he's impacted the game with some quality at bats. First inning, 2-out RBI, single opposite field. It's just, these are the quality at bats, the professional at bats that you need to count on up and down the lineup.
Parra takes outside. Gerardo a bunt single and a ground ball to first, 1 for 2. Parra with runners in scoring position has been a monster this year. And this ball is hit to deep center field. Granderson going back. And on the track, he makes the catch, and coming home with the Rockies' 9th run is Reynolds. Desmond will tag and move up 90 feet. Parra with his 2nd sac fly in this series. Really should have had a 3rd also. And he's got 36 RBIs. Well done, Gerardo Parra.
I mean, this takes a huge amount of pressure off of the Rockies' offense. It's a sigh of relief to see this. To see the quality of bats up and down the lineup, to see the team at bats being given for each other. I like the execution. Gerardo and now with Ian Desmond back to back, that's quality at bat after quality at bat. And that's what this team has been missing.
Story takes inside. Breaking ball, and this is hit to shallow right. Bruce coming on will make the catch. In the inning, the Rockies get a couple of more runs. It began with a double from LeMahieu. He's got 3 hits. Reynolds drove in a run. He's got 3 hits. You get the picture. TNT Sportsnet RM on Twitter to cast your vote. During the Toyota postgame show, we will show you the results. Your favorite New York food, your favorite New York delicacy. New York pizza, street dog, cheesecake, a pastrami sandwich. My dad would vote for the pastrami sandwich. I will vote for there's nothing better than
a street dog.
No. the
street dog is it's really a hot dog.
You get a slice of Ray's. You kidding me? What are you voting for?
Hipster avocado toast. There's a lot of places around here in New York you walk around and overspend on avocado toast.
That wasn't one of the options, though.
I'm gonna go with the street dog. Nothing tastier than a street dog.
Nothing's tastier than a street dog. Jay Bruce at the plate. He doubled to right over the head of Parra in the second. 2 strikeouts, 3 innings of shutout baseball so far for Hoffman. He's allowed 3 hits, 2 soft hits. The one ball that was struck hard was off the bat of Bruce. Curveball for a strike. 1-1. It can be a strikeout weapon, and it can get him back in counts as it did just there. Jeff and his fiance, speaking of dogs, have a beautiful husky that is with them all the time. Two-one. That's a good pitch. He's jammed a lot of the Mets hitters. TJ Rivera will be coming up, but first the Coors Light Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Clean and Crisp Coors Light. Most innings played by a position player this year, Charlie Blackmon of the Rockies, 797. Nolan is next at 792 and a third. And then Ender Inciarte of the Atlanta Braves. You know what those three guys have in common, Spilligus?
I have no idea what they have in common.
They're all all-stars.
Oh, fantastic.
Ball 1 on Rivera. Rockies return home after the ball game to take on the San Diego Padres. Then the Pirates will follow San Diego into town. We'll see Clint Hurdle's team over the weekend. Here's the 1-0. There's a Nathan dog right there.
That contest.
I can't watch it.
I cannot watch that.
Nope. And please don't refer to them as athletes. Are you offended by that as a former athlete?
No. Not offended.
Stuffing your face, when did that become athletic? That's a tough play. That ball skipped on Nolan. I think it hit the lip of the grass. And it just shows you how quick his hands are, how soft his hands are. This went from a routine play to it had a little bit of difficulty to it.
Well, for Nolan, he'll tell you it's about staying down and using your feet. Even as the ball takes the tricky hop, see him shuffle his feet again and get his body down to keep his glove down. It's not always just about your hands and the ability to have the quote-unquote soft hands. It's about footwork.
That's a strike on Duda. Rockies do not shift this year on many players. Duda is one of them. Good heater. 96, 0-2. Yeah, we had some great Steven Matz stories. Do you know who Matz, when he grew up on the island, Stony Brook, their arch rivals were led by a pitcher that became a very prominent big leaguer. Do you know who it is?
No, I have no idea.
Marcus Stroman.
Really?
Yeah, Matz and Stroman battled on several occasions in high school.
The one story that I liked was his grandma worked in a deli and would cut out the coupons on a bunch of different milk cartons from the deli.
Dairy Lee.
And if you got 10 of them, you could have a free ticket to see the Mets. And Grandma would save all these coupons and collect enough to take the entire family to watch Met games. And I love that.
You know what? Remember I mentioned the other night that I was here for Willie Mays night in '73? That's how we got those tickets.
That's
and
amazing.
Ended up becoming, back of the Dairy Lee milk cartons. This ball's hit well to right. This will leave the ballpark. Lucas Duda with his 15th home run of the year. And there goes the shutout. It's now 9-1.
I can live with solo home runs. Where I can't live with it is when they come with an 0-2 pitch. Too many times over this last couple days we've seen too good of pitches with 2 strikes. And the Mets have made the Rockies pay. This one just leaks out. And you just watch Ryan Hanigan reaching. That's mislocation by a lot.
Jose Reyes. Reyes is sitting on 499 stolen bases. He also, in his return to New York, has moved past Ed Kranepool to number 2 on the all-time hits list for the Mets. And this is toward the right fielder Parra. He's got it. He'll run on in from that point. We move to the 5th. A home run by Lucas Duda has made it 9-1. Ryan Hanigan to lead it off in the 5th inning. On the Road is brought to you by Lazy Days RV. Next road trip, the Rockies will see the Cardinals at Busch. They'll have a day off in our nation's capital, and then they'll play 3 against the Nats. Looking for a little revenge when they get to Washington. That's took 3 of 4 from the Rockies earlier in the season. That is our Lazy Days RV on the road. That's the next trip for the Rockies. You can catch all those ball games on that road trip on AT&T Sportsnet. 2nd inning for Salas. He gave up 2 runs in the 4th. Hanigan is 0 for 1. He was intentionally walked in the Rockies' 4-run first frame. High fastball, ball 1. The Dodgers are leading again, 3-0, 5th inning in Miami.
They're not going to lose for the rest of the season.
They're going to go clean.
They might lose one game. So we're whipping around the National League West. Atlanta is up 6-0 in the top of the 4th over the Diamondbacks.
Hannigan lifts this to Bruce in right.
Last night it was a return to Madison Bumgarner. It's very good.
Yeah, he pitched well. He got a no decision, went 7 innings, gave up 3 runs on 4 hits.
I'm always able to look at these game scores because Rockies baseball is always live with the MLB.com at-bat mobile app. Stay connected all season with video highlights, stats, news, and more.
Jeff Hoffman, a strikeout looking, a strikeout swinging. That's strike 0-1. Righties are hitting .347 against Salas. Two gone in the Rockies' 5th. Charlie Blackmon will come up, a double and 3 at bats. First time he's faced Salas in the game. Ball 1. Fifth in the National League in hitting. And this will be a routine play at second for Cabrera. Middle of 5. Rockies leading the Mets 9-1.
To the bottom of the 5th. And don't forget it's a Sunday, so a brand new episode of The Club will be coming up right after the Toyota postgame show. We'll look back at some of the best moments from the first half. We remember our off-season trip to Atlanta where Charlie Blackmon put in the work it takes to be the best leadoff hitter in the game, and we'll revisit Bud Black's trip to his alma mater at San Diego State. That's all new. The Club coming up after the postgame show. And speaking of the Club, we want to congratulate the wonderful production team and our very own Ryan Spilborghs for winning his first Emmy last night.
Yeah!
The Heartland Emmy Awards.
Rode some coattails.
Yeah, you went to Cooperstown, and your episode from last year won an Emmy. So, Spilly, what does it feel like? We need your acceptance speech.
I'd like to thank all the people whose coattails I rode to get this Emmy. And after you've given me the Emmy, it is the worst case scenario. You talk about giving the wrong person something to puff their chest out. Thank you, Emmy. You just gave me some confidence.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about that. We also have to congratulate, of course, John DeVore and Ryan Morrison, Charlie Felix, the great Root Sports production team that puts on the club each and every week. Allison Harder, one of our editors. So for all those guys whose coattails you rode, congratulations.
You know what? For the rest of the ball game, maybe for the rest of the season.
Address me properly.
Emmy Award-winning Spilligus.
You love to ruin a good thing.
Okay. The Emmy Award winner, Ryan Spilborgs.
That's right. Check out that graphic. That's how it should look.
That's going to get old real quick.
For who?
For us.
That's awesome, man.
Are you going to make a necklace with your Emmy? Just that heavy medallion hanging down?
Not afraid.
You like bling. That's some serious bling there.
It's like the first thing people do when you get something like that. You have to update your profile. Put the picture of it on your Twitter account or your Facebook or your Instagram.
Yeah, we got word of it like around midnight last night, but 12:04 I noticed it had already changed on your Twitter account.
One-time Emmy Award-winning analyst.
Who rode the coattails of somebody else.
Congrats, Ryan. It is really cool. It's a very neat honor, and I know you're sitting next to the 15-time Sportscaster of the Year for Colorado, so you have some big shoes to fill up there.
Hey, Jenny, if we wish...
One trophy at a time.
Yeah, if we wished you a happy birthday yet?
You did. Thank you.
Okay. It's up and in on Renee Rivera.
I haven't gotten the cupcake or, the ice cream. I think it's National Ice Cream Day, by the way.
Is it National Ice Cream Day?
I think so.
No, it's not.
Jeff Houston's favorite holiday. He can fact check for us.
For Jeff, that day comes 365 days a year.
Please don't send ice cream down here.
What would you like?
In 1 second.
Why don't you come up here, Jenny? Come sit in the middle.
I might just come snuggle.
Come up here.
With your big award winners.
Let's get you
Jenny,
out of the sun.
Get out of the sun. You are with child.
Get up here.
Oh.
Hashtag talent.
Garrett Atkins. Why is that in quotations, Billy?
You know what? I'm going to enter Garrett Atkins next year for an Emmy for the viewer that watches the most Root Sports. Do you think he would win?
Yes. He's retired.
He's the
If he's not playing golf, what else is he going to do? This is Jacob deGrom pinch hitting. He's hit well over 200 this year. deGrom swings and misses.
Well, he's looking to do some damage. 286 batting average, 1 home run, 4 RBIs, 302 on base percentage. Not bad numbers. Yeah, remember, this is a former shortstop from Stetson University.
Well, on Friday night, he had 2 hits and 4 at-bats. Didn't see a curveball like that, though, when he was at Stetson, did he?
There's a reason why he's pitching.
Two strikes on deGrom. One, two, and that's strike 3. So deGrom will head back to the dugout. That's the first out in the 5th inning. That is the 3rd strikeout for Jeff Hoffman. Curtis Granderson hit by a pitch and a fly ball to right.
No, all honesty, as far as the Emmy goes, I think when you look at the type of people that we work with on a day in, day out basis, you get humbled by how good and how hard people work. And for the people that are part of production, and for even the people that the show competed against, understanding how much hard work and dedication goes into it, into editing something pretty cool to be in the conversation.
It's well deserved. That was really well done, and there's a lot of high quality work that you may be biased, but that emanate from all those shooters and editors that are behind the scenes. But it's awesome. Granderson with a 1-1 count. Jeff Houston has just texted us to confirm, as only he would know, being the authority on desserts. It is National Ice Cream Day. So we're obligated to partake, aren't we?
Yep. Jenny, Jenny, what kind of ice cream would you like? There's the helmet soft serve,
Yes.
which looks amazing.
Are my eyes going?
Is there a bad kind of ice cream?
Is that a red helmet or an orange helmet?
It's orange.
Okay. Pulled foul.
My favorite ice cream, Billy, salted Oreo from Little Man.
Gosh, yes.
You in? Can't find that here. I'll have to wait till we land, and then you can make a special run.
Well, I can get you a frozen lemonade, an ice cream sandwich that I can throw from up here.
I'll pass.
2-2 on Granderson. My favorite's Moose Tracks. They serve that in Philadelphia. They serve it everywhere, but 3-2.
Good pitch.
That was a really good pitch. It was all over the Subaru strike zone, not called strike 3 by Bruce Dreckman. This will be the 70th pitch. And it's lined to right, but there's Parra. Rivera returns to first. And it'll bring up the second baseman, Asdrubal Cabrera. Cabrera fly ball to center field and a strikeout this afternoon. Good pitch from Hoffman.
Then we're looking at, and hopefully it doesn't get lost, 9-1 lead from the Rockies, but the ideal strike to ball ratio that Bud Black has been looking for and asking for his pitchers. He's about to throw pitch number 70, 48 of those for strikes.
It's the kind of ratio he likes. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cabrera is a guy that's seen the postseason on a number of occasions, 4 times. He's been in the postseason. Twice an All-Star. Jenny, does Jenny have one of those? We should get her one for her birthday today.
I actually do have a really cool fan that hooks into my phone.
Yeah.
So.
It hooks into your phone?
Yeah. I'll show you.
That's a really cool phone.
See it?
Whoa. Wow.
So bright, Ed.
You are so innovative.
Right? This is actually compliments of my father-in-law, so I do have to thank him for that. My phone's about to die, but the fan's working great.
What did Steve get you for your birthday?
He got me a great new pair of running shoes / walking shoes for right now.
Right.
And some watch bands.
Nice.
And we went to brunch in Brooklyn yesterday. It was very lovely.
Brunch in Brooklyn.
Did you have avocado toast?
I did. How did you know?
Everyone eats that in Brooklyn.
Oh, it's so good.
Do you know a tree grows in Brooklyn, Jenny?
I'm sorry, what was that?
A tree grows in Brooklyn.
Is that a song?
It's a famous book. This ball's well hit to right. This one's gone. And we talked about it, the Mets' ability to hit home runs. It's 9-3 after that 2-run shot by Cabrera, his 9th.
Three-one count. Hoffman falling behind. We're just raving about the strike to ball ratio. And when you have a lead, 9-1 lead, you have to force contact. You just see center cut and up. He couldn't have put it on a tee any better for Cabrera.
That'll bring up Conforto. That's ball one from Hoffman. Two and 0. So Hanna going to go out. Rockies got 4 in the first, 3 in the second. They got 2 more in the 4th inning.
Last 2 pitches just outside of the Subaru strike zone. I felt like of late, the last 2 innings, that the zone has gotten a bit tighter on Hoffman. We've already seen the pitch here or 2 inside the Subaru strike zone.
Hey,
not called for strikes.
Now you're a former position player, obviously. Here's the 2-0. This is in the air to Parra. Think about this question and give me an answer when we come back. With all of the conversation the last few years, one of the mandates of Rob Manfred is to speed up the play of the game. Would you like to see an expanded strike zone? Give us the answer when you come back. 2-run home run from Cabrera, 9-3 Colorado. That is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Citi Field, the place, and the Rockies have a 9-3 lead on this Sunday afternoon. And in the 6th inning, it'll be 2, 3, and 4 in the Rockies lineup. LeMahieu, Arenado, and Reynolds. With Ryan Spilborghs and the birthday girl, Jenny Kavnar. We're glad you're along on AT&T Sportsnet this afternoon. And this is Chase Bradford. He'll take over after Steven Matz started, went 1+. Goodell went a couple innings. Fernando Salas went a couple of innings. DJ's 3 for 3, scored 3 runs, 2 singles and a double. And he is got his 4th hit and his 2nd double. It's good to be DJ LeMahieu, huh?
He's an all-star, and he just does things. I was looking at his batting average today, and I go, he's hitting .309 to start the game. He just does it so quiet, so professionally. It's day in, day out. You don't see the high and low swings that the DJ goes through. He's just so consistent. It's a little cutter out over the plate. And again, now this one he pulls to left center. 3 hits opposite field. Gets a little off-speed type pitch in the middle of the plate that he can pull his hands inside of. And now again, Rockies are in business.
Here's Nolan. He takes a strike. 3-run home run in the 2nd for Arenado. Foul out and a ground out to 3rd as well. So I asked you before the break if you would like an expanded strike zone. I'm not talking about an automated strike zone. I'm talking about an expanded strike zone, which presumably would increase ball in play and also maybe shorten length of game.
What do you mean it'll increase ball in play with a bigger strike zone?
It potentially will, because hitters have to be more aggressive.
No, I don't want to see it. If anything, just with the amount of strikeouts that we've seen, an expanded strike zone just means more strikeouts.
You may see a different approach though too. I'm not supporting either side. I'm just throwing it out there because it has been mentioned.
And the interesting thing is that I've talked to people that have seen an automated strike zone. There's been a couple attempts of it in the minor leagues in independent baseball, and it works. It works well. The problem is I like the human error element. I like that the strike zone can be adjusted. That a pitcher that's pitching well and locating and using a catcher to frame can steal strikes and expand a strike zone. I love that part of the game.
I'm with you. I never want to see. Listen, the game's played by humans. It ought to be officiated by humans. You can correct things through video. I do not want to see an automated strike zone. And you know, truth be told, you know, sometimes we get caught up in, you know, the showing you the Subaru strike zone, and I don't like when it becomes a referendum on the home plate umpire. They're trying to make a call on a 97-mile-an-hour fastball that's shaving the corner, or maybe it's a little bit off, and they have to make a split-second decision just like you have to as a hitter. And these guys are fabulous at what they do. They're the best in the world at what they do. It's why they're working here. And Nolan's got 1 out. Yeah, I mean, there are times we all express, I have too, you know, frustration when a pitch is missed or a pitch gets called a strike that's seemingly, you know, 3 inches off the plate.
But that's the beauty of
it's part of the game.
It's part of the game, and the difference is between a good receiving catcher and a not so good receiving catcher. There's a craft behind it.
Mark Reynolds is 3 for 3. Does DJ take off for 3rd again? Last time he doubled leading off in the 4th inning. Nolan grounded out to 3rd, and then DJ ended up stealing 3rd. He was brought around on a base hit by Reynolds. If it was 9-0, you wouldn't see DJ do it, but with the Mets scoring 3 runs in the last 2 innings, still a ball game, 9-3. Bradford pitched the first 2.5 months in Las Vegas. He got a call up on June 22nd.
Bradford is from Las Vegas, went to Silverado High School. He also pitched for 2 years at the College of Southern Nevada before transferring to Central Florida.
You know who went to College of Southern Nevada?
No.
Plays for the Nationals.
Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper. After he got his GED in Vegas, so he could get eligible for the draft. Played 1 season at the College of Southern Nevada. Led them to the JUCO World Series at Grand Junction, and then he got tossed.
The team got beat, or he was ejected from the game?
He got ejected. I can't remember the circumstances. Somebody will remind us on Twitter, but he got thrown out.
Somebody must have asked him a clown question.
Had her thrown at him. He's having an MVP kind of season once again for Washington, as is his teammate Ryan Zimmerman. One and two on Mark Reynolds. 9-3 Colorado. DJ is at second base, and this is in the air to center field.
The first 10,000 fans Friday, July 21st, will receive an Ian Desmond Rockies t-shirt, courtesy of AT&T Sportsnet. It's nice getting to see Ian Desmond back today. 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs and a much needed quality at bat in the middle of the lineup.
We had a leadoff double here, and you were talking earlier about how good the at-bats were and the team at-bats. You're in the middle of the order. It'll be a disappointment if DJ's left at second base. See if Ian can come through with 2 outs.
Well, after Nolan made his out, I could hear some bat slams coming out of the dugout. 2 back-to-back at bats that were empty at bats for Nolan. And not making those quality at bats, moving guys over, even though you're trying to score the RBI, you're trying to drive somebody in. You're putting pressure on your teammates to now get a base hit with 2 outs. Putting pressure on Mark Reynolds to have to get a hit.
One and one on Desmond. Big 2-run single in the first to get the Rockies going. Now it's 2-1. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And that's a wild pitch. LeMahieu to third. Rockies caught a little break coming in New York in terms of humidity. It's not been very bad the last few days. It's ideal day to play. 3-2. Ball 4. So Desmond walks. Now they're 2 on for Gerardo Parra. Desi going.
To be forget what? Oh.
He's going to come out for Tapia, and I think he's just fine. It's just his first game back. Rockies are up by 6 runs rather than have him run around for a full 9 innings, given the score on that calf that he just returned from. They're going to put Tapia in there. It's a good day for Desmond in his return. Got the Rockies going with that 2-run single, couple hits, on base 3 times.
It's nice to see Ian back. That caught me off guard, watching Ian running off the field. I'm like, what?
Well, you know he's fine the way he ran off the field. Parra takes ball 1. Parra bunt single, scored in the first inning. Grounded out to first in the second, hit a sac fly to deep center field in the 4th. Last year, that's probably a pitch that Gerardo fired at. He's not walking much more than he did last year, but his takes are much better.
Last year with the left leg, he just didn't have the ability to sit on the backside. And for Gerardo, when you watch him get in his stance, he sits heavy on his back leg.
Pulled to Duda. So the Rockies will leave 2 on. They waste a leadoff double by LeMahieu. Middle of 6, Colorado 9, New York 3.
On Tuesday, we have a special Toyota Talk takeover guest. Ian Desmond is going to join us. Yes, he'll be playing baseball, but what you need to do in the next 2 days is tweet us your questions at AT&T Sportsnet RM. That's where you can send your questions for Ian. We will have him answer them, and then we'll present you the answers coming up on Tuesday. So again, think of all your deep questions for Ian Desmond. I know you two have a couple. You'll be tweeting them in the next 2 days, right?
Probably not. But here's the thing.
Come on, Drew, participate.
I can participate. We'll participate. But so he's not going to be wearing a microphone and going and typing in between pitches.
No,
right?
he is. He's going to bring his cell phone out to the outfield, and in between pitches, like most people do, they'll look at their phone and start tweeting or texting.
We will take the questions
and
to him, and he will answer them. So you can follow along online again at AT&T Sportsnet RM, or you can hear them live in the broadcast on Tuesday.
That sounds like fun. Never text and play. Jay Bruce ahead of the changeup. It's 0-1. Bruce double and a fly ball to left field. See if Hoffman can have a quick 6th inning. Well, that's going to be a leadoff single for Jay Bruce. TJ Rivera, riding a 10-game hitting streak, is 0 for 2.
So you remember how we were asking our followers and listeners out there to respond on how Bryce Harper was ejected from the game?
Yeah, did we get responses?
Yep. He drew a line, arguing with balls and strikes.
Oh yeah, that's the quickest way to get ejected. Saw that recently in a high school game. Kid drew a line, ejected.
You're gone.
You're gone. That's where that pitch went. Up and in, ball 1 on Rivera. But I think when you get ejected for the next, that game and the next game is the rule. And I think the next game was, I don't know, was a championship game. I don't remember how Southern Nevada did that year, but that turned out to be his last appearance in the Junior College World Series. One ball, one strike on Rivera.
I'm going to guess for players that have played baseball, 90% of them that make it and play for a while, if you're a hitter, you've drawn a line on an umpire at some point in your career.
And since you're throwing that out there, when did you do it? This ball is going to drop, and it's another base hit. The 2-run, nobody out. Rivera now has an 11-game hitting streak.
You just can't help yourself. Did it once in college, in a summer league.
Did you get ejected?
Of course.
Lucas Duda, who hit a solo home run in the 4th, is now up. Steve Foster's going to come on out. Yeah, this game's not in the hip pocket. It's nice to have a 6-run lead. As we've described, this Mets team hits a lot of home runs, and now there's some traffic out there. Crowd feels like they're still in it. But he has asked Scott Oberg to stretch out the arm. Strange geometry on how those bullpens were built out there in right center field. Off the plate, ball 1 on Duda.
Well, up until a couple years ago when they started bringing the fences in, Citi Field was the 3rd largest field in baseball. Coors Field is obviously number 1, but Citi Field was number 3.
One ball, one strike. That's fouled out of play. There have not been many ground balls, if you're thinking ground ball double play, against Hoffman today. He did get one of those in the 1st inning with Michael Conforto. The only other ball or out recorded on the ground was TJ Rivera in the 4th inning, hitting a ball to Nolan. Other than that, everything's been in the air. 3 strikeouts for Hoffman. This is playable for Charlie in center. Bruce will tag and move up to 3rd. Rockies' upcoming home schedule is brought to you by Remax. It'll be a 6-game homestand, 3 against the Padres, And the first two on AT&T Sportsnet. Wednesday afternoon will not be televised. Thursday's an off day, and then the Pirates come in Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Our Remax home schedule. Jose Reyes. Fly ball to left and a fly ball to right for Reyes. That's a good pitch. Seeing as many mid-90s flashes as you did earlier in the game. See if Hoffman's just keeping a little bit in the reserve tank. Last two heaters at 92. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nope. As long as you're able to locate your fastball.
Yeah, it's about pitching, not about throwing. Changeup, good block. Changeup like a curveball, like a slider, one that catcher anticipates the potential, the higher potential of it being in the dirt.
It's just the importance of a 1-1 pitch and being able to throw it for a strike, because now you put yourself, the hitter has the advantage again, 2-1. You throw that pitch for a strike, it's 1-2. The significant decrease in batting average. We're talking about a 100-point swing on one pitch.
Fastball away, and it's hit away. And the sliding catch made out there by Blackman. Bruce will tag and come home. That's a terrific play by Charlie. 9-4 after Bruce scores for Reyes' 32nd RBI.
It's a fantastic play by Charlie, and let me explain why. With Raimel Tapia in left field, and there's been a lot of communication issues between the outfielders. This is hit in between both of them. So Charlie's probably screaming, telling him to get out of the way, and you have to trust that he's going to move, and for him to dive on the Subaru Supermo, the level of fear of running into your teammate, not just catching the baseball, is rushing through his mind.
That's a huge play. Otherwise, you're talking about, in all likelihood, second and third. Maybe it's a 2-run double, and you're talking about 1 out. Now there's 2 outs, a run in. You got Rivera at the plate. And Rivera is going to pop it up. LeMahieu and Parra will call off DJ. So in the inning, a couple of singles, ultimately a sac fly, but a great catch by Blackman. 9-4 as we go to the 7th. Right now as they bat in the 7th inning. Trevor Story will lead things off. Now you can watch your favorite Isotope stars make their journey to the big leagues with the Colorado Rockies. AT&T Sportsnet is your home for Rockies baseball all season long and is available on most cable and satellite packages. Visit AT&TSportsnet.com for channel information. With Ryan Spilborgs and the birthday girl, Jenny Kavnar, I'm Drew Goodman. The Rockies trying to get this final ball game of a 3-game set. First two, as you know, did not go well for Colorado. 14-2 they lost on Friday night, 9-3 yesterday. They're up 9-4 right now. Like to add on, always, Story, Hannigan, and we'll see if Hoffman hits here in the top of the 7th. Second inning of work for Chasen Bradford. And he has a slider over for a strike. Rockies had a chance to score against him last frame. LeMahieu a leadoff double, but Arenado struck. Al Reynolds hit a fly ball to center. Desmond would walk. Parra grounded out.
I keep watching Trevor Story taking a peek down to third base just based on how far back Rivera is at third. Rocky's looking to jump aboard and Trevor's looking for more consistent at bats, but at the same time, it's wide open for a drag bunt.
And with one strike, though, probably not as likely. Here's the 1-1, 2-1.
Certainly not anymore. But when we're paying attention to guys hitting and looking, checking out, you're always looking at the field of play and where the fielders are.
2-run double in the first for Story. Pulled a line drive down the left field line. 2-2.
We've seen that a lot to Trevor this season in fastball counts. Teams have been going to off-speed pitches, trying to get him off the fastball. That has been the pitch that Trevor does all his damage with.
And a base hit the other way. Good start to the frame for Story and the Rockies. Second hit tonight or today for Story.
Good for Story. This is great to see. So far we've seen 2 quality at bats from him where he shortened up his swing. We saw it in the first inning with the double. Again, we see it with 2 strikes, shortening it up. That's a tough pitch. Mislocation, but a pitch that we've seen Trevor miss. Short swing, take it to right.
Now speed aboard. Hannigan at the plate. Nobody yet in the on-deck circle for the Rockies. And that's going to be Pat Valaika, so it'll be the end of the day for Jeff Hoffman. Story takes off. And that looked, I'm guessing, was a hit and run because I don't know why Hannigan would have swung at that if it wasn't. Rene Rivera got caught on the backswing. Look where this pitch is, though. It's got to be a hit and run, wouldn't you think?
Ouch.
Yeah, that hurts. And it seems like it lately when it's happened, it's been a catcher hitting a catcher, and Hannigan immediately went to check on Rene Rivera. That's down the line, but out of play.
See if 2 strikes, if Trevor gets the green light, at least he considers stealing if he likes what he sees. Bradford isn't the quickest to home plate. He will occasionally slide step. If he goes high leg kick, you can definitely take second base.
Rivera's been tough to run on. He's thrown out 39% of would-be base stealers. In this day and age, that's a great percentage. Story not going, and this one is again fouled off by Hannigan.
On as much as base stealers, you try to read slow leg kick and try to get the timing of when a pitcher is going to throw, you're also guessing count. When do you think a pitcher is going to throw an off-speed pitch? Fastball away.
And Hannigan went.
All kids through the gates on Wednesday, July 19th will receive the Hartford signature red fire helmet as part of Junior Fire Marshal Fire Safety Day at Coors Field.
Well, Vallejo is standing in the on-deck circle, but he has been called back, and it's going to be Cargo taking the pinch hitting at bat here in the 7th. You were describing the last couple of days for Cargo that he was kind of drifting toward the baseball. What can you do to counter that?
You really have to trust to sit on your back leg. I think when you're watching Gerardo Parra today, when we've seen Trevor Story hit behind the baseball, Mark Reynolds, think about how Nolan hits behind the ball. DJ, you have to keep your weight, you have to limit your head movement. And when Cargo's at his best, he hits the ball opposite field because he can sit back. When we've seen him get around baseballs, that's the worst case scenario for any hitter. There you go.
He stayed back on that, and I've heard hitting coaches say this, Billy, and I would think you'd agree with this. Sometimes good hitters, because they're not afraid to stay back and let the ball get deep, will get jammed, as opposed to always being on the front side and getting the bat in and out of the zone too quick.
A hitter's swing is better off where the hands are tight, close to the body.
There goes Story, and this one's fouled off.
2 much better swings for Cargo. People are like, come on, it's 2 foul balls over the third base dugout. That's not a good swing. Yes, it is. Trust me.
Two strikes. I mean, any kind of small success right now for Cargo will give him a small dose of confidence, which is, even for a player who's been so great in his career, he needs it now.
What we call the summer 4-3. There's nobody on the left side of the infield other than Jose Reyes. And that is also why a nice, you're going to get the strikeouts, but at least he's getting closer to having that approach to try to go to the opposite field, to let the ball travel and trust the hands.
2 outs. Story still at first base, and that'll bring up Blackman. And you feel for Cargo, because we've all seen him, as he said himself about a week ago, where he's been the best in the game, and now he feels like the worst player in the game, and it's agonizing to go through. I can't imagine.
The team needs him.
And
they need him to be Cargo.
Yeah, absolutely. And Buddy Black has said that without, you know, trying to put pressure on him. He says, listen, for us to be the best version of the 2017 Rockies, We need Cargo to be Cargo. You need Trevor Story to be more like the guy you saw for 4 months last year. Trevor's had a nice ball game today. That's not being unfair. It's being honest. One and one. The internal clock in Charlie's head said, yep, been standing here too long. So he calls time, steps out. 14 hits for the Rockies. They have not scored since getting 2 in the 4th. The Mets have scored in 3 straight innings. Hoffman ends up going 6 innings, gives up 4 runs on 7 hits. Walked 1, struck out 3. Hit a batter as well. Not a dominant outing by any stretch by Jeff, but with the big early lead, in line for his 6th victory in his return to New York State. Again, hadn't pitched in New York State since high school. Charlie hits this ball to center field and deep. Granderson going back, still going back. It's off the very top of the wall, and that'll get Story home. And Charlie's got another triple. He's going to route third. He's going home. Charlie's going to score an inside the park home run.
Curtis Granderson stopped running after the baseball in center field. I think he thought a fan touched it. Fan interference. I didn't see it. You might have thought it's over the orange.
That you want to know why? That's a home run.
It's a home run anyways.
Yeah.
So you forced him to run extra hard for a homer.
Right.
But it looked really cool. It sounded great too. Jared did a good job.
A inside the park home run that wasn't. I wonder how they'll mark that, because they haven't reviewed it. Because it doesn't matter. How will that be listed? 11-4, home run number 21. RBIs 63 and 64 for the Rockies all-star center fielder.
That might put a challenge down for the Freeze, Billy Hamilton and Adam Rosales as far as sprint speed around the bases for a homer. You always hear about me talking about sitting on the backside. You can watch as Charlie's sitting on that back leg. Head does not move. He allows the hands to fly through the zone, gets a pitch up. Inside the park, normal home run.
They're calling it an inside the park home run because I guess you have to call it that since they didn't review it. I've never seen that before. Have you?
Today's a first for both of us. It's cool.
DJ trying to go 5 for 5. He's got 2 singles, 2 doubles.
Charlie out of the box, running hard.
Well,
as soon as he sees it, hit it.
Yeah, you know what? He wasn't running all that hard initially. He thought he may have hit it out.
That's a good trot, Charlie.
Well, you worked out with him for a couple days in the offseason in Atlanta. He's got one heck of a regimented workout. That looked like the stride that he was working on when he was pulling the sled back in December.
Yeah, with all the weights. I mean, Charlie has put himself in position physically, mentally to be this type of player.
He's a beast.
He's a monster. Speaking of monsters, DJ with the chance to get 5 hits on the day.
1-2. Top of that Rockies lineup. 7 hits between Charlie, DJ, and Nolan. 5 RBIs. And if this drops, it won't drop. There's the final out of the 7th inning. The top 3 in the lineup have scored 6 runs also. A 2-run inside the park home run by Charlie Blackmon. And the Rockies lead it 11-4. We're going to pause for a moment with a rendition of God Bless America here in the middle of the 7th at Citi Field.
Please welcome from Broadway's summer blockbuster musical Miss Saigon, Devin Elau.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Pitching performance, and who other than Jeff Hoffman in return to New York. 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, very efficient, 91 pitches. Commanding his fastball, getting the occasional strikeout, 3 strikeouts today, 1 walk. Happy to pitch in front of his friends and family, helping the Rockies getting out to an 11-4 lead over the New York Mets.
New pitcher in the ball game is Scott Oberg in the bottom of the 7th inning, and he'll face Matt Reynolds pinch hitting for the pitcher Braden. 9-1-2 for the Mets, 11-4 Colorado, 15 hits for the Rockies. It's been a nice time to get together with family as well, as we described on Friday for Oberg. Went to school at UConn, Northeast kid. And Reynolds chops this ball 6 feet. Now it's rolling 7 feet.
We're trying to get a time on Charlie Blackmon's home run trot, if you want to call it a home run trot.
Well, it's not going to be super fast because, again, he was cruising till he got a couple of steps past first base. I think he thought he may have hit it out. And as it turned out, he did hit it out, but he had to run hard.
It was 16 seconds, which is it's not faster than Billy Hamilton or Adam Rosales. I think they had like an 11-second home run.
What was the time we got on your grand slam?
It was probably around 14 seconds.
Was it that fast?
I don't know.
Oh,
I didn't have the Yemi in my back pocket, so I was running pretty quick.
Oh my goodness. What's the statute of limitations on references?
One day.
This is like your 38th reference today. We're proud of you, Spilly. You won any awards lately?
Nope. Not today. I did yesterday.
One and two on Reynolds. Pops out of the glove of Tony Walters at 97, or of Ryan Hannigan, I should say. 2 and 2. Four home runs, 14 driven in by Reynolds. Good pitch. Strikeout of Reynolds by Oberg. 1 out in the 7th. That'll bring up Granderson.
The first 10,000 fans next Sunday, July 23rd, will receive a lunch cooler bag, courtesy of King Soopers.
Granderson today hit by a pitch, 0 for 2. It's hit the ball to right twice. It's typically an extreme pull hitter. And he takes a strike. Roger Federer, in his mid-30s, winning another Wimbledon title today in straight sets.
It's awesome.
Venus Williams. Venus is 33. She lost in the finals yesterday, but I think surprised a lot of people getting to the finals once again. It was a good fortnight.
Have you ever been out here in Flushing?
For the U.S. Open? Yeah, growing up. Great event. Saw Jimmy Connors, Bjorn Borg back, Vitas Gerulaitis, that group. McEnroe. Two. How old did I? Venus is 37. I had her at 33. Venus is 37. This is lined right at Nolan. 2 outs.
Venus is 37 years old.
Maybe Serena's. How old's Serena? Serena's not going to, you know, didn't play Wimbledon. She's with child. Venus, the older of the two Williams sisters. 2 outs, and as Drupal Cabrera will step in. 2-run home run in the 5th. And across the way, the U.S. Open Tennis Center, Arthur Ashe Stadium.
I grew up a big Andre Agassi fan.
Huge Agassi fan, yeah.
Dug the mullet, love the cameras.
Had an opportunity to call several tournaments that he was involved in back in the early 90s. 0-1. Did you ever read his book or any excerpts from his book?
I don't think so. I need to read that one. I
mean,
have
his dad,
his book list I need to.
It's somewhat tragic. His dad put so much pressure on him. His dad used to literally bring him around in Las Vegas and hustle people when he was a kid. I mean, a young kid, but he, you know, was freakishly gifted.
Like a tennis shark?
Exactly. He would go over, you know, there'd be some 45-year-old guy who was a really good player. And he'd say, you know, I'll have my 11-year-old kid play you. And he goes, what do you want to bet? And it's, you know, big money guys. His 11-year-old be playing matches to back his father's large bet. 1-2.
We were talking about Bryce Harper earlier drawing a line in Grand Junction during the Junior College World Series. Can you imagine John McEnroe if he was a hitter?
John McEnroe would get tossed a lot. Are you kidding me?
I wouldn't mind seeing headbands come in vogue in the major league level.
Where did I just see it? Is it in Sports Illustrated or the New York Times? I think it's in the New York Times. Was it yesterday? It was yesterday, a featured piece on McEnroe. 2-2, and this is in the air to shallow center. Story will be called off by Blackman, the ubiquitous Charlie Blackman. A 1-2-3 inning for Oberg as we go to the 8th. The Rockies in charge 11-4. Our Lady of Liberty. In the second, they're up 11-4 as we go to the 8th inning. Who wants tacos? Fans, follow us at AT&T Sportsnet RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies clips a 7-run mark. Neil Ramirez takes over for the Mets. The Rockies saw him earlier this year when he wore a Giant uniform. He's also worn a Blue Jay uniform this year, and now he's wearing a Mets uniform. It's been that kind of year for Neil, but guess what? He's got a big league uniform on. That's the most important thing from his perspective. Matt Reynolds stays in the game at third. T.J. Rivera moves from third to second, which means Cabrera has departed. The numbers this year for Neil Ramirez between those three clubs. 7.22 ERA.
Well, in 28 innings, he still has 43 strikeouts. He's getting the punch out. Had a great spring training with the Giants and made the ball club. And then he's bounced around.
Yeah, he was designated by the Giants, claimed by the Blue Jays on May 5th, and then 4 days later, Toronto designated him, and he never actually appeared in a game for the Blue Jays. So the numbers we showed you are between the Giants and the Mets.
We were teammates in AAA in 2012.
Cleveland, right?
He was with the Texas Rangers.
Oh, the Texas Rangers, okay.
And then last year, he was with the Chicago Cubs.
Not unusual for guys in the bullpen, if they're fortunate enough to stay around a long time. It's very unusual for a reliever to stay with one team, unless you're, you know, of the ilk of a Mariano Rivera and your closer. But setup guys and middle inning guys, man, they move around. One, two, and Nolan pops it up. Rivera makes the catch, 1 out.
And I think if you look at the journey of Neil Ramirez just this season, this is why when you talk to guys that play this game, that go into the professional ranks, the bad side of the game is when you start bouncing around. How difficult it is on families, how difficult it is on a person's psyche. Think about this. He gets claimed by the Toronto Blue Jays May the 5th. Doesn't even put on the uniform and gets designated for assignment already. And then you get claimed again, you go to New York. So if you're trying to make the track, hey, we just got claimed by Toronto. We got to get our passport. We're moving up there. Get up there, you're not there anymore. You're getting picked up by the Mets now.
Live out of a suitcase. There's the in-game box. Rockies, good balance up and down the lineup. Mark Reynolds, 3 hits today. Double, single, single. He's driven in a run, scored a couple. One and two. 1 out in the top of the 8th. And that is on, well, not completely through, but through enough that it's a base hit for Reynolds. And he's got a 4-hit afternoon. That's going to bring up Raimel Tapia for the first time. He pinch ran after Desmond walked in the 6th. Desmond's fine. The fact that the Rockies had a sizable lead. First game back for Desmond off a strained calf muscle is an opportunity for Buddy to rest him for the latter third of the game. In fact, when Desmond came off, he jogged at a pretty good clip all the way to the dugout. Desmond had a nice ball game. Single 2 runs in the first with 2 outs, had a double in the 4th. Also the walk that I mentioned. So 2 hits and 3 at bats, on base 3 times. Subaru strike zone indicates it's 0-1 on Tapia. Padres are at home, the Rockies' opponent tomorrow. Yet to get started against the Giants. Another pop-up. Reyes this time calling. And now now Gerardo Parra. Gerardo's 1 for 3 in a sac fly. Herman Marquez tomorrow.
He's going up against a really nice arm in Luis Perdomo. We've seen Perdomo in the past. Heavy, heavy sinker.
Yep, high ground ball rate with Perdomo. This ball is hit well to right. We'll find out how well. Well enough. 2-run home run, Gerardo Parra. And the Rockies have 13 runs. For Parra, his 7th big fly of the year.
Good to see Gerardo just getting back to where he left off prior to going on the disabled list. And since we've seen Gerardo back, he really has changed the Rockies lineup. After the very first swing, he saw the ball very well off Neal. Gets a pitch up that he can handle. And this one he can just trot.
That is a season high in runs for the Rockies. We've had 12 runs on a few occasions this year, but 13, that's a first.
Heroes are looking at a season high in hits, 17. Tying it, make that 18 if they give him a hit.
Did Story get hurt? Guess not. He went across that bag and looked like he hobbled for a moment. We're going to make you official scores, Billy. What do you got here?
Off the end of the bat, a lot of English. Watch how it just jumps on him. I mean, you're probably going to get an error on it. But Duda will tell you, that's not an easy play to make.
Error on Duda. Hannigan, only Rocky regular without a hit in the lineup. 0 for 3, intentional walk in the first inning. The only Mets pitcher not to give up a run in the game, Eric Goodell, who replaced Steven Matz, who got only 3 outs. Goodell ended up retiring all 6 hitters he faced. He struck 3 of them out. But then Salas came in. He pitched 2 innings, gave up a couple runs. Bradford pitched a couple innings. He gave up a couple of runs. And Neil Ramirez has now given up a couple of runs. Three and 1 on Hannigan. Amarista has come out on deck if Hannigan can reach, and he just did. That'll push Story to second, and it'll bring up the little ninja. This game looks like what the Rockies absorbed on Friday. 14 runs, 20 hits. From the Mets' perspective, they're getting a taste of their own medicine. 13 runs, 17 hits for Colorado.
The Mets came into today's game with the 29th worst ERA in baseball. It's only a matter of time. You're looking at the Rockies waiting to break out, to string some at-bats together and get their offense going.
Inside on Amarista. And that was a cross-up, I would think. It certainly looked like that for how Rene Rivera reacted. Be a pass ball. What's odd is Rivera's not going out. Usually after a cross-up, you'll have a conversation. Hey, man, I thought it was the second sign after 2 or whatever.
Ramirez pointed and showed some fingers to Rivera. You know, it looked like a 1 or 2, so from here it's first or second sign.
This ball is pulled just foul. Maybe when you're down 13 to 4, you don't go out. You just yell and go, hey, we're taking the second sign. Remember, second sign. Two on Alexi Amarista. Mike Dunn will pitch the bottom of the 8th inning. Amarista stayed off the back foot breaking ball. And the walk to Amarista, that loads the bases, and here comes Chuck Nasty. Probably not the guy that Ramirez wants to see.
Nope.
This was the inside the park, not inside the park home run. It actually hit above the orange line, and that where it says M&M's on it. That's should be a home run, but Charlie had to hustle all the way around, and they didn't review it because either way it's a 2-run homer. His 21st of the year.
It's a game like this that for people that want to be a leadoff hitter, 6th at bat of the game. Like, you sure you want to hit that much? When you're right, it's fun. When you're not right, longest day ever.
That's where, as a hitter, you want to be greedy, right?
Well, the funny part of this is, even though the Rockies are well on their way to winning a game, Charlie's 2 for 5 today.
3 for 6 sounds better, right?
And 2 for 6, yeah.
1-1. Blackman looking back, asking Bruce Dreckman where exactly that was. Some diplomatic type of conversation. You're diplomatic when it's the first strike, less so when it's the third. Rivera does not have a play. You know what? I'm going to assume that's his wife, and that's well done. protected his wife, didn't try to catch the
No, he was
baseball.
using her as a shield.
Is that what he was doing?
Yes.
Let's make a determination right now.
Yeah, he's using her as a shield to
Yeah,
protect
you know what?
himself.
Yeah, you're right. It was. You know, everything I said about you, sir, I take back.
You're a lucky woman.
1-2. And Charlie strikes out to end the inning. Rockies leave the bases loaded in the 8th, but they did score a couple on a 2-run home run by Gerardo Parra, his 7th of the year. Boy, has he ever been good. Having a terrific season. 13-4 Colorado. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Say yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By the Tavern downtown. Get 2-for-1 draft beers after Rockies home games with your same-day ticket. And by StubHub. Looking for great seats? Head to StubHub, the official ticket marketplace of the Colorado Rockies. Well, that's how we usually get back into Manhattan. Take the old 7. 13-4, the Rockies leading with Ryan Spilborghs and Jenny Cavnar. I'm Drew Goodman. Michael Conforto will hit first for the Mets in the bottom of the 8th inning. Mike Dunn is out there for the 39th time this year. Former charter member of the NL East, pitching for the Marlins. He's been on this mound quite a few times. Charlie's come out. Alexi takes over in center field.
Done through a clean inning the other day. 2 strikeouts and a walk. Last 9 appearances has been very good for him.
Conforto's 0 for 3. And he fouls that one off. Michael struck out looking in the 3rd. Hoffman again goes 6 innings, 4 runs, 7 hits, a walk, 3 strikeouts. He did hit a batter through 91 pitches. He's on the plus side. Steven Matz had a forgettable outing. He went 1+ and gave up 7 runs on 9 hits. It's like putting an M80 to your ERA. Good pitch. Bottom of the zone, 1-2. The Subaru strike zone has pitch number 3 right where you'd like it, on the knees. Slider, 2-2. going to be a tough chance for Dunn, and he
Nice
made a
play.
really good throw to Mark Reynolds. That's scary for a first baseman also. Ball coming, runner coming, arm out in the baseline.
And very easily, this could have gone down the right field line. Bare hand, keep it inside. Being able to show the baseball to Mark. Nice play by Dunn. Reynolds can breathe.
Jay Bruce a double and a single and 3 at bats. Bruce is one of those guys that, you know, his name comes up with the trade deadline approaching because he'll be a free agent at the end of the year.
He's had a great half for the Mets.
Tremendous.
There's got to be some people interested. And Sandy Alderson the other day was talking about this group. What's he going to do? Is he going to add? Is he going to sell?
So much of it has to do with, you know, the opening 7 to 10 days that they're in the midst of right now after the All-Star break. Do the Mets play themselves into contention for a wild card? 9.5 back in the division. Such a difficult time for front offices, for general managers, determining who you are and what will you part with to make yourself a little bit better, and is it unrealistic? Will you part with too much when you're really more than one player away to potentially competing for a championship?
Well, not only that, because of the 2 wild card spots, are you willing to leverage the farm? Are you willing to take on more payroll for a wild card spot, for a 1-game play-in?
That's a wonderful point.
I mean, if it's for a division, yes, you do everything you can to win a division. If you're looking at the National League West, as good as the teams have been, the Dodgers right now are 9.5 games up on the Diamondbacks, who are losing right now.
I think that's a great point, and one that, again, GMs wrestle with. How much do you want to get better? You want to improve your roster, but it can blow up in a 1-game playoff, and then how much did you give up? The other side of that argument is, and I'm a big believer in this, that the postseason finds you, not necessarily the other way around. You can't pick your time. You can say, hey, we think we're going to be good. Rivera hits this ball on the line, and Tapia reaches up and makes the catch. So when you're in a position to potentially play in October, you want to give yourself every opportunity to play as long as you can. But you're right, there's a difference between you being a division winner and a 1-card wild card. DJ LeMahieu, who's got 4 hits today and 5 at bats. Neil Ramirez throws a slider, and that's fouled off. Ramirez through the 8th inning gave up the 2-run home run to Parra. Rockies loaded the bases after the home run. Charlie struck out swinging to end any possibility of additional damage. Fastballs up and away. 1-1. 28,745 at Citi Field today. Some have headed home to barbecue, though.
Right. And some of them go home to barbecue with a fancy bat that they gave away today.
Comebacker, 1 out. It's another giveaway when we get home, though, Spilly.
Oh, this
tell
is great.
everybody about it.
Colorado State fans, yeah, all of you, come watch the Rockies take the Pirates on next Sunday, July 23rd. Purchase a special ticket package to receive a limited edition CSU Rams themed Rockies hat.
Well, let me tell you about the CSU Rams. They're going to open a new football stadium this fall. It's gorgeous. Had a tour of it a couple of weeks ago. Mike Bobo has one of the top quarterbacks returning in Stevens, one of the top wideouts coming back in Michael Gallup. Of course, our birthday girl's a CSU Ram, Jenny Kavnar. My wife's a CSU Ram. This ball is lined to left.
Ram to left.
Nolan was not a CSU Ram. He's got himself a double. 3-run home run and a double. Not a bad day's work for Arenado.
Last 2 at bats for Nolan, frustrating at bats. Now he gets a chance with a hanging curveball to feel good about today. So he rams this ball into left field.
Nice use of rams as a verb there. For Nolan, he now has 53 extra base hits.
That's a lot.
'73 RBIs.
That's a lot.
Lead baseball. Reynolds has 4 hits and a ribby today. Most hits you ever had in a game. At any level.
I think it was 6 in a collegiate game in Las Vegas.
At Cashman? Or were you playing at UNLV?
UNLV. Wind was blown out.
I got this one. I don't got it. Are double tacos possible?
Let's find out.
Saw a game you played in where there was 3 7th-inning stretches.
Oof. Yeah, that was a game I pinch hit for in the 10th. So I watched essentially the entire game.
You and Jamie Carroll, huh?
It was great. Yeah, Jamie's the best.
Here's the 1-2. That has popped up around the mound. Ramirez, you're not allowed to catch it. Oh, okay. Dumbest thing I've ever seen. I always say, you know, the 4 times a year that comes, that to me always defies logic.
If you can catch it, catch the baseball.
What, the pitcher can't catch a ball? I mean, Rivera's running out there. He's 50 feet from home plate, and he's got the gear on. He's trying to battle the sun, not turned around properly. Ramirez goes, I'll catch it. Here you go. Here's Tapia for the 2nd time. This is to left field. Conforto's got it. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Rockies up 13-4. Spilly had a 4-hit July 4th game with 2 bombs against the Marlins. How about that?
Surprise you?
No. (13-4). The hustle and bustle of Midtown. That's Times Square. And it'll be Zach Rosscup, second appearance in a Rockies uniform for the former Cub. Actually, 3rd appearance for Zach. Lucas Duda will come up in the 9th inning. Duda today a 2-run, or actually a solo home run in the 4th. 2-run home run came from Asdrubal Cabrera. Pat Valleca's at second base. All the moms and dads will be happy. All the kids getting to play.
Yeah,
still.
everybody played today. It's great. Take them out to pizza after.
Get juice boxes first. Left field, Tapia is there, and Raimel makes the catch. Reyes 0 for 2 and a sac fly.
Since we were talking about the CSU Rams last inning and you were mentioning Coach Bobo has a good team, every time I hear the name Coach Bobo, I chuckle, and I have to apologize to the coach because as a player and good friend of Matt Holliday, Todd Helton used to call me Holliday's Bobo, and the term was like I was his guy. I would carry his bag, I would do all this stuff. So
no Emmy Award winner should carry anybody's bag.
Jenny will be my Bobo today.
Jenny's, it's her birthday.
Spilly, any day for you. I brought the cloth to polish your Emmy too, so we'll make sure it's nice and shiny the flight home.
So I get about 2 more outs to talk about this, and then it's done.
And then you're
no.
out.
Till tomorrow. Rosscup ahead of Reyes 1 and 2. Oh,
No
do it
way.
with your bare hand. That'll be a hit.
In a game where it's 13-4, a lot of times you'll just see people check out. Nolan does not. Do or die play in Nolan's mind. It's going to go bare hand. One move and make the throw off of Reynolds' glove. There's still an opportunity that he almost finished the play. And for the Mets fans that were still around right now, they had an opportunity to see Nolan, the great Nolan Arenado, make a bare hand.
Even his misses, you're shaking your head. You're going, really? How was that even a play? Rene Rivera. Ross Cup with a fastball that's in there for a strike. Jack lives in Salem, Oregon. Used to playing in some raindrops when you're a baseball player out of the Pacific Northwest. Amarista in center field will make the catch. 2 are out, and that'll bring up Matt Reynolds. You know who knows Matt Reynolds? Our buddy George Frazier.
He does?
Got to.
Well, he's from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
He went to Bishop Kelly High School. It's a good private school. It's where Parker Frazier went to high school.
My only question was, he had surgery last year on right wrist debridement. Is that another legal term of something?
It is a legal term, yes, I think.
I've never heard of debridement.
That's when you're a spy and you come back, and it's a special term when you're getting debriefed. That's the cool lingo for it. Reynolds went to Arkansas after being a star in Tulsa at Bishop Kelly. First team all SEC player his junior year, his draft year. 2-1. Good pitch. 2-2. Mets took him in the second round in 2012. Rockies a strike away from shaking hands for the first time in the second half of the season. And now it's time to shake hands. 13-4 the final. The Rockies scored early and often, 7 runs in the first 2 innings. They led 9-0 at the end of 4. And in 3 hours and 46 joyful minutes, the Rockies will win for the first time. As I said, in the second half, they'll improve to 12 games over 500, 53-41. They got a solid pitching performance from Jeff Hoffman, but the bat's the story today as the Rockies pound out 18 hits, a season-high 13 runs for Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Well, it was the offense. Nolan had a 3-run home run. He had a couple players with 4 hits. Charlie, well, he did his thing. That turned into an inside-the-park home run. He had a double and scored a run also. Parra hit a 2-run home run. LeMahieu 4 hits. Reynolds 4 hits. Everybody involved today. It was a joyous way to finish this series in New York against the Mets. The final score once again, the Rockies 13, the Mets 4. And for Jeff Hoffman, he improves to 6-1. And with that, we send it to our 18th